Stop scrolling. Right now. This isn't manifestation. This isn't positive thinking. This is linguistic neuroscience, and they've been using it to program you since age 3. There's a mechanism in your brain you were never taught about. Your reticular activating system, the neural filter that decides what you notice and what you ignore, is programmed by the words you repeat most frequently. Every word you speak is a filter instruction, and you've been running someone else's instructions your entire life. Your parents' limitations, your culture's fears, the system's control language, all on autopilot in your language centers right now. Here's the proof. Say this sentence out loud. I always mess things up. Feel that? That chest constriction, that jaw tension, that energy drop. That's not emotion. That's your nervous system obeying a command. You just cast a spell on yourself and felt it work. Now say, I'm becoming someone who handles things with ease. Different sensation, different body response, different reality filter. Same mechanism, different instruction. That's your language processing centers reprogramming your nervous system in real time. Not metaphorically, neurologically. In this video, I'm giving you the exact protocol. The filter-breaking phrases, the neural interrupt patterns, the 48-hour testing sequence. That turns your language from their control mechanism into your reality-shaping tool. Follow it correctly, and you'll see trackable changes within 48 hours. Not eventually. Not when you believe hard enough. Within 2 days, reality reorganizes around your new linguistic filters. But you have a tiny window before old programming snaps you back. Click away now. Nothing changes. The spells resume. Stay and apply this. You'll never hear language, yours or anyone else's, the same way again. Binary choice. Stay asleep in their linguistic prison, or learn the mechanism and take your reality back. Let me show you how deep this goes. The word you're not supposed to understand. There's a reason they call it spelling, not writing, not letter arrangement. Spelling. When you were 6 years old, sitting in that classroom learning to spell, nobody told you what you were actually learning. You were learning spellcasting, the deliberate arrangement of symbols to create reality. That's just wordplay, you're thinking. A coincidence, is it? Then why does the word grammar come from the old French grammaire, which meant book of spells? Why were medieval scholars who studied grammar called grammarists? And why was that word synonymous with sorcerer? Why does the word curse share the same root as cursive, the flowing script you learned to write? Why is a legal sentence the same word used for a judge's binding declaration of punishment? These aren't accidents. Language was always magic. They just made you forget. Here's what nobody told you. Every word you speak creates a vibrational pattern that restructures reality around you. Not eventually, not metaphysically, physically, right now, at the quantum level, and I can prove it. This is the experiment they don't want you to see. In 1994, a Japanese researcher named Dr. Masaru Emoto did something remarkable. He took water samples, exposed them to different words, both written and spoken, then froze them and photographed the resulting crystals. Water exposed to words like love and gratitude formed intricate, beautiful, symmetrical crystals. Water exposed to hate and fear formed chaotic, fragmented structures. That's been debunked, you might say. And yes, mainstream science dismissed it, couldn't replicate it under lab conditions, called it pseudoscience. Here's what they don't tell you. Your body is 60 to 70% water. Those same water molecules that formed those crystals, they're inside you right now, in your cells, in your blood, in your cerebrospinal fluid, the liquid that bathes your brain. Every word you speak sends vibrational patterns through the water inside your body. You are literally restructuring your physical form with language. But it goes deeper than Emoto's work. Way deeper. The quantum linguistics they buried. Let me show you something that will make this undeniable. In quantum mechanics, there's a principle called the observer effect. The act of observation changes the behavior of particles. An electron exists in a state of probability, multiple potential positions simultaneously, until someone observes it. Then it collapses into one definite position. Observation creates reality at the quantum level. Now here's the part they don't connect for you. Language is directed observation. When you speak, you're not just making sounds. You're directing your consciousness and everyone else's consciousness toward a specific aspect of reality. You're collapsing probability into one specific outcome. When you say, "I am broke," you're observing yourself through the lens of poverty. And reality collapses to match that observation. When you say, "Money flows to me easily," you're observing yourself through the lens of abundance. Different observation, different collapsed reality. This isn't woo-woo. This is documented quantum mechanics applied to consciousness. The HeartMath Institute. They're the researchers who measure heart coherence in electromagnetic fields. Documented this with simultaneous EEG and ECG measurements. When subjects spoke positive affirmations with genuine emotional intent, their heart's electromagnetic field became more coherent, more organized, more powerful. That field extends 8 to 10 feet beyond your body. It's detectable by other people's nervous systems. It influences their behavior toward you. Your words create an electromagnetic signature that literally changes how reality responds to you. Still think I'm being metaphorical? Let me show you something that will make this undeniable. When you hear a word, any word, a specific cascade happens in your brain. First, your auditory cortex processes the sound pattern. Then, your Wernicke's area decodes meaning. But here's the crucial part. Your motor cortex activates immediately. Why? Because language evolved as a precursor to action. When your ancestors heard tiger, their motor cortex prepared their muscles to run before conscious thought could intervene. Your brain doesn't distinguish between describing an action and preparing to perform it. When you say, "I can't," your motor cortex begins inhibiting the neural pathways required for that action. When you say, "I will," it begins activating them. You're literally programming your nervous system with language, and it gets wilder. The mirror neuron infection. You have specialized neurons called mirror neurons that fire identically whether you perform an action or watch someone else perform it. Your brain simulates their experience in your own neural circuitry. Here's what this means. When someone speaks to you, you don't just hear their words, you embody them. Their language becomes your internal experience. Their reality becomes your reality. Their spells become your spells. This is why toxic people are actually toxic. Their words infect your neural architecture. This is why charismatic leaders are dangerous. Their language reprograms your belief structure. This is why advertising works. Repeated exposure to specific language patterns literally rewires your decision-making circuits. But there's another layer. One that will change how you see every conversation you've ever had. The Reticular Activating System. Your reality filter. At the base of your brainstem sits a network of neurons called the Reticular Activating System, the RAS. Its job? To filter reality. You're exposed to approximately 11 million bits of sensory information per second. Your conscious mind can only process about 40 bits per second. The RAS decides which 40 bits you get. Here's the crucial part. Your RAS filters reality based on the language patterns you repeat most frequently. If you constantly say, "I never have enough money," your RAS filters your reality to show you evidence of scarcity. You literally stop seeing opportunities for abundance. They're there. Your brain just filters them out. If you say, "I always find parking spots," your RAS filters your reality to notice empty spaces. Same parking lot, different filtered reality. Your words program your reality filter. Most people are walking around with a filter set to show them limitation, danger, and scarcity, and they think that's objective reality. It's not. It's just their filtered reality, created by their habitual language. You've been walking around absorbing other people's spells your entire life. And most of them were cast with malicious intent. Let me decode some common words you use every day. Watch what happens when you see what's hidden inside them. Mortgage. Break it down. Mort, death, plus gage, pledge. Death pledge. When you sign a mortgage, you're not just taking on debt. You're literally pledging your life energy, 30 years of labor, to an institution. You're binding yourself to a death contract. They named it accurately. You just weren't paying attention. Understand. Under, beneath, plus stand position. When you say, "I understand," you're linguistically placing yourself beneath the concept, in submission to it. Try this instead. I comprehend. From the Latin comprehender, to grasp fully, to hold together. Active, not submissive. Feel the difference? Government. Govern, to control, plus ment, the mind. Mind control. It's not hidden. It's right there in the word. They told you exactly what it was, you just weren't listening. Person. This one will blow your mind. In ancient Rome, persona meant the mask worn by actors in theater. Your legal person, the one on your birth certificate, your driver's license, your tax returns, is not you. It's a fictional entity, a legal construct. When the system addresses your person, they're talking to the mask, the role, the character in their story, not the consciousness reading these words right now. That's why they can control your person, but not you. They never had jurisdiction over consciousness, only over the fictional entity they created. Information. IN, into, plus formation, structured arrangement. When you receive information, you're being formed, shaped, structured into a specific pattern. This is why they control media so carefully. They're not just spreading news. They're formatting your consciousness. Broadcast, broad, wide, plus cast, to throw, to spell. When you watch the news, you're receiving a spell cast broadly across the population. Every headline is an incantation. Every repeated phrase is a ritual. Every talking point is a coordinated spell. They're not informing you. They're enchanting you. Business, busy plus ness, state of being. Business is the state of being busy. It's designed to occupy your time and attention so you don't have the mental bandwidth to question reality. When someone asks, "How are you?" and you respond, "Busy," you're casting a spell of perpetual distraction on yourself. Holiday. Holy plus day. Originally, holidays were sacred days of rest and spiritual connection. Now, they're commercialized consumption events designed to keep you in debt and distraction. The word stayed the same. The spell reversed. Religion. From the Latin religio, meaning to bind or to tie back. Religion wasn't originally about freedom or enlightenment. It was about binding people to a system, tying them back to authority. The mystics knew this. That's why they were persecuted by religious institutions. They were teaching liberation through direct experience. The institutions were teaching bondage through belief systems. Authority. Author plus IT, quality of. Authority means the quality of authorship. Those in authority are the authors of your story. They write the narrative, set the plot, define the characters, unless you take authorship back. Evil, spelled backwards, live. Evil is the inversion of life. Anything that diminishes life force, restricts consciousness, or blocks natural flow is evil by definition. Most of what society calls normal fits that definition. But I don't believe the news, you're thinking. I don't trust the media. Doesn't matter. Your mirror neurons don't care about your skepticism. They're absorbing and replicating the patterns anyway. The spell works on you, even when you consciously reject it. This is why repeated exposure to fear-based news creates anxiety even in people who don't believe it. The words are programming your nervous system below conscious awareness. Let me show you the most insidious spell of all. The one you cast on yourself without realizing it. Pay attention to your self-talk for one day, just one day. Write down the phrases you say to yourself internally. I guarantee you'll see patterns like, I'm so stupid. I always mess this up. I can't do this. I'm too old/too young/too fat/too poor. Why does this always happen to me? Each of these is a spell, and you're casting them dozens of times per day, binding yourself, limiting yourself, cursing yourself. Here's the mechanism. Every thought creates neural pathways. Every repeated thought strengthens those pathways. Your most frequent thoughts become your default neural architecture. When you repeatedly say, I'm not good enough, you're literally carving that belief into your brain structure. You're hardwiring inadequacy into your operating system. This is called neuroplasticity. Your brain physically restructures itself based on repeated patterns. You're using the most powerful reality-shaping technology in existence, human language, to trap yourself in limitation. And you were taught to do this. You weren't born thinking these thoughts. You were programmed. Here's how they did it. Ages 0 to 7. Your brain operates primarily in theta state, the same brainwave frequency as hypnosis. During this window, you have no critical filter. Every statement from authority figures gets installed directly into your subconscious as fact. Money doesn't grow on trees. You can't have everything you want. Life is hard. Don't get your hopes up. Be realistic. These weren't advice. They were spells, cast by people who were under the same spells themselves. Your parents weren't trying to harm you. They were unconsciously transmitting the limitations they inherited from their parents, who got them from their parents. An unbroken chain of linguistic enchantment going back generations. Ages 7 to 14. Your brain develops critical thinking, but you're still highly programmable. This is when peer influence becomes dominant. You learn that certain words make you popular, certain words make you rejected, certain words make you powerful, certain words make you weak. You begin policing your own language to fit in, self-censoring, self-limiting, casting spells of conformity on yourself. Ages 14 to 21. Reinforcement phase. School, media, and culture all repeat the same spells until they become invisible. By adulthood, you don't even notice you're under enchantment. The spell becomes reality. And here's the truly brilliant part of their design. They convinced you that words don't matter. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That lie, taught to every child, is the master spell. The one that prevents you from recognizing linguistic manipulation. The one that keeps you defenseless against word-based attacks. Words hurt more than sticks and stones. Bones heal. Linguistic programming lasts decades. You've been walking around with no linguistic immune system, completely vulnerable to every spell anyone wants to cast on you. That changes now. Let me show you something they deliberately removed from your education. Ancient civilizations understood linguistic magic as fundamental reality. It wasn't mysticism. It was technology. Ancient Egypt. The words of power. In Egyptian magic, specific words called Hekau were believed to have creative power. The god Thoth, god of wisdom and writing, was believed to have created reality through speaking the divine words. The Egyptians didn't see this as supernatural. They saw it as natural law. Words create. That's just how reality works. Their entire religious and magical system was built on pronunciation precision. Get the word exactly right, and you could influence reality. Get it wrong and nothing happens. Modern magicians mock this as superstition, but consider. If words create vibrational patterns that affect quantum probability, then precise pronunciation would matter. Different sounds create different patterns. Different patterns create different outcomes. The Egyptians weren't superstitious. They were pragmatic experimentalists documenting what worked. Hebrew Kabbalah, the 72 names of God. In Kabbalistic tradition, reality was created through combinations of Hebrew letters. The 72 names of God are actually 72 three-letter combinations that represent different aspects of creative power. These were not names in the way we think of names. They were formulas, specific letter combinations that, when pronounced correctly with proper intention, could influence reality. Again, modern people dismiss this as religious mysticism, but look at the structure. They're describing reality as fundamentally linguistic. They're saying consciousness plus specific sound patterns equals manifestation. That's exactly what quantum linguistics and neuroscience are now proving. The ancients just didn't have the technical vocabulary, so they used religious language, but they were describing the same mechanism. Sanskrit mantras, the science of sound. The Sanskrit language was deliberately constructed based on the sound's effects on consciousness. Each phoneme was tested for its impact on the nervous system. The word mantra means mind tool. Mantras aren't prayers, they're technologies, specific sound combinations designed to alter consciousness states and influence reality. The most famous mantra, creates a resonance that harmonizes brainwaves. When chanted correctly, it synchronizes both hemispheres of the brain and creates coherence in the heart's electromagnetic field. Modern biofeedback equipment proves this works. The ancients discovered it 5,000 years ago through trial and error. The Greek mystery schools, logos. The Greek word logos doesn't just mean word. It means the fundamental creative principle, the organizing intelligence behind reality. In the Gospel of John, in the beginning was the Logos, and the Logos was with God, and the Logos was God. This isn't religious poetry. It's a statement about the nature of reality. Consciousness, God, and creative language, logos, are the same thing. The Greek philosophers understood reality is fundamentally linguistic. Consciousness speaks and things come into being. Why they erased this knowledge? In the 4th century, when Christianity became the official religion of Rome, the mystery schools were systematically destroyed. Their texts burned, their practitioners killed or driven underground. Why? Because liberated people can't be controlled. If people understand they create their reality through language, they can't be manipulated through fear. They can't be controlled through authority. They can't be bound by limiting belief systems. The institutions needed people to believe power came from external sources: God, king, church, state. The mystery schools taught that power comes from within, from consciousness, from properly wielded language. That knowledge had to be erased, and it was. For 1,700 years, this understanding was available only to secret societies and initiates who risked their lives to preserve it. You're one of the first generations in modern history to have access to this knowledge openly. Don't waste it. Your linguistic immune system, the defense protocol. I'm going to teach you something ancient traditions knew, but modern education deliberately left out. How to detect and deflect spells before they install. This is the skill they feared most, the reason mystical orders were persecuted. Not because they practiced magic, but because they taught people how to become immune to linguistic control. Step 1. Develop spell detection sensitivity. Your body already knows when it's under attack, you just haven't been trained to notice. When someone speaks to you, whether in person, on TV, in writing, pay attention to your physical response. Tension in jaw. Resistance. Your body is rejecting the spell. Tightness in chest. Fear activation. The words are triggering survival programming. Hollow feeling in stomach. Manipulation detected. Something doesn't align with truth. Softening in shoulders. Resonance. The words match your inner truth. Warmth in chest. Recognition. You're hearing something authentic. Your body is a spell detection device. It knows truth from manipulation instantly. You just learn to ignore it. Trust the signal before you trust the words. Here's a practice. For the next week, every time someone speaks to you, especially on TV, social media, or in advertising, close your eyes for a moment after hearing their words and scan your body. Where did you feel tension? Where did you feel openness? That's your spell detection system coming online. That's your linguistic immune system waking up. Step 2. Catch the installation attempt. Spells require your acceptance to work, conscious or unconscious. When someone makes a statement about you, you're so disorganized. You always do this. You'll never change. You have a choice. Accept. Yeah, I guess I am disorganized. Spell installed. Reject. That's not accurate. Spell deflected. Most people automatically accept. It's called an agreeable personality, but it's really vulnerability to linguistic programming. You must develop the reflex to question every statement before accepting it as truth, especially statements about your identity or capabilities. Here's the practice. For 48 hours, every time someone makes a statement about who you are or what you can do, pause for 3 seconds before responding. In those 3 seconds, ask yourself, is this true, or is this their projection? That pause is everything. That's the space where you have choice. That's where you can deflect the spell instead of absorbing it. Step 3. The shield question. Before any word enters your belief system, ask, is this mine, or am I absorbing someone else's reality? That boundary question is everything. You've been carrying other people's beliefs, limitations, and fears your entire life, thinking they were yours. They're not. Most of your self-doubt was installed by someone else. Most of your fear was downloaded from culture. Most of your limitations are inherited language patterns. When you ask, is this mine? You create space between the spell and your consciousness. And in that space, you have choice. Step 4. The reversal technique. When someone casts a spell on you, criticism, judgment, limitation, you can reverse it instantly. Instead of absorbing the words, reflect them back. They say, you're not qualified for this. You reflect internally. What's making them say that? What fear or insecurity are they projecting? They say, you always mess up relationships. You reflect, that's their narrative about me. What's actually true? This isn't denial. It's refusal to accept someone else's story as your reality. The spell only works if you accept it. When you question it, you break the enchantment. Step 5. The energetic seal. This is an ancient technique, modernized. When you're about to enter a situation where you'll be exposed to negative or manipulative language, a toxic workplace, a difficult family gathering, scrolling social media, create an energetic seal. Place your tongue on the roof of your mouth, just behind your front teeth, and hold it there. This completes an energetic circuit in your body that ancient traditions called the microcosmic orbit. It loops your energy back into yourself, instead of allowing it to leak out or absorb external influences. It sounds strange, but try it. Next time someone is ranting at you or you're watching anxiety-inducing news, touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You'll notice their words have less impact. You'll feel more separate from the emotional manipulation. It's a physical circuit breaker for linguistic spells. The counterspell, offensive linguistic magic. Now that you can defend, let me teach you to attack. Not other people, but your own limitations. Every limiting belief you hold is a spell that was cast on you, and every spell can be broken with a counter spell. the pattern interrupt technique. Your limiting beliefs run on autopilot, neural pathways so well worn they fire without conscious input. I'm not good with money fires automatically when you see your bank balance. I'm awkward in social situations fires automatically at parties. I can't do this fires automatically when you face challenges. To break these patterns, you must interrupt the spell mid-cast. The moment you catch yourself thinking a limiting thought, do this. Snap your fingers. Clap once. Say, stop, out loud. Ring a bell. Stomp your foot. This creates a break in the neural pathway, a moment where the automatic pattern can't complete. In that moment, install a new spell. I'm becoming better with money. Not, I'm good with money. Your subconscious knows that's not true yet. But I'm becoming is irrefutable. You are in a process of change. This is how you slip past the subconscious defenses and install a new pattern. Do this every single time you catch a limiting thought. Within a week, the old pattern will start weakening. Within a month, it will be significantly disrupted. Within 3 months, it will be largely replaced. The etymology rewrite. Remember how words carry hidden meanings? You can deliberately rewrite those meanings to empower yourself. Take the word work. Most people feel heaviness around it, burden, obligation, suffering. But the etymology of work comes from the Greek ergon, meaning to create, to bring into being. Work isn't suffering. Work is creation. When you reframe the word with its original meaning, you change your entire relationship to the activity. Do this with every major word in your life. Discipline equals to teach, not to punish. Failure equals to fall, necessary to learn to stand. Problem equals something thrown forward, an opportunity approaching. Compete equals to strive together, not to defeat each other. Conflict equals to strike together, like flint creating fire. Change the meaning, change the spell, change the reality. Here's your assignment. Make a list of 5 words you use frequently that carry negative connotations for you. Look up their etymologies. Find empowering original meanings. Rewrite your relationship to those words. The I am reconditioning. These are the 2 most powerful words in any language. I am. Whatever follows those words becomes your identity spell, your self-definition, your reality anchor. Right now, complete this sentence 10 times. I am blank. What did you write? I guarantee at least half of those statements are limitations you've been conditioned to believe. I am bad at math. I am not a morning person. I am terrible with technology. Each one is a self-curse. Here's your counterspell protocol. For 30 days, you're going to consciously reprogram your I am statements. Every morning, before you check your phone or do anything else, you're going to speak these words out loud. I am becoming the version of myself who desired quality. Not, I am successful. Your subconscious will reject that if it doesn't match current experience. But I am becoming someone who attracts success cannot be argued with. It's true. You are in process. Say it out loud. The vibration through your vocal cords matters. The sound wave through the water in your cells matters. Do this for 30 days and watch your reality restructure itself around your new identity. The negation elimination protocol. Most people's language is saturated with negation. They say what they don't want far more than what they do want. I don't want to be broke. I hope I don't get sick. I can't stand being alone. Your subconscious doesn't process negation well. When you say, don't be broke, your subconscious hears broke and orients your reality filter toward evidence of poverty. For the next 2 weeks, practice this. Every time you catch yourself saying what you don't want, immediately reframe it into what you do want. Instead of, I don't want to be late. Say, I intend to arrive on time. Instead of, I hope this doesn't go wrong. Say, I trust this will unfold well. Instead of, I can't afford this. Say, I'm creating the resources for this. This rewires your RAS to filter for solutions instead of problems, abundance instead of scarcity, possibility instead of limitation. The scripting technique. This is an advanced method used by mystics for centuries and recently rediscovered by manifestation teachers who don't know its historical roots. Take 15 minutes every morning. Write in present tense, first person, describing your ideal day as if it's happening now. I wake up feeling energized and grateful. I handle the morning challenge with calm confidence. Money flows to me easily from expected and unexpected sources. I attract people who appreciate my value. I end the day feeling accomplished and peaceful. Don't write what you hope will happen. Write what is happening in the reality you're creating. Why does this work? Your brain's language processing centers don't distinguish between vivid imagination and memory. When you write in present tense with sensory detail, your brain processes it as current experience. This activates neural pathways associated with that reality. Your RAS begins filtering for evidence that matches your script. Your mirror neurons begin preparing your body to behave in alignment with your written reality. Within weeks, your external reality begins matching your script. Not through magic, but through your reprogrammed nervous system, generating different behaviors that create different outcomes. Before I give you the protocols, you need to see this. Real people, real transformations, real evidence that this isn't theory. Because I know what you're thinking right now. This sounds good, but does it actually work? Let me show you. Her name is Sarah. She was 53 when I met her. She'd been saying the same phrase her entire adult life. I'm just not good with money. Not occasionally, daily, multiple times a day. When bills came, I'm just not good with money. When opportunities appeared, I'm just not good with money. When someone asked her to invest, start a business, or negotiate a raise, I'm just not good with money. She thought it was just a harmless self-observation, a personality trait, like being left-handed or preferring coffee to tea. It wasn't. It was a curse, cast by her mother, who got it from her mother, who got it from her mother. 4 generations of women all speaking the same spell. I'm just not good with money. And you know what? None of them were. Not because of actual inability, but because of linguistic programming running on autopilot for 40+ years. Here's how she broke it. I gave her one assignment, just one. For 30 days, she couldn't say that phrase at all. But what do I say instead? She asked. Nothing. Say nothing. Just stop casting that particular spell. Day 1 was torture. She caught herself saying it 17 times. 17 times in one day she was about to curse herself and had to physically stop mid-sentence. That's how deep the programming ran. By day 7 she was down to 3 times. By day 14 she caught it before it came out. By day 30 the phrase felt foreign, like someone else's words in her mouth. But here's where it gets wild. On day 18, before the 30 days were even complete, her sister called. Their aunt had passed away and left Sarah $23,000 in her will. Sarah had no idea this was coming. The aunt was estranged. They hadn't spoken in years. Coincidence? Maybe. But then, on day 26, a former colleague reached out about a consulting opportunity. $8,000 for 3 weeks of work, in her exact area of expertise. Sarah had been unemployed for 4 months before this. 4 months of, I'm just not good with money on repeat. 4 months of nothing. 18 days without the curse. 2 significant financial opportunities. By month 3, Sarah had started a business. By month 6, she'd made more money than any year of her life. I'm the same person, she told me. Same skills, same connections, same market. The only thing that changed was I stopped cursing myself. That's not metaphor. That's mechanism. The curse wasn't a supernatural hex. It was a neural pattern filtering her reality so she didn't notice opportunities, didn't trust herself with money, didn't take action when chances appeared. The moment she stopped reinforcing that pattern, her RAS recalibrated. Opportunities were always there. She just couldn't see them through the curse. Here's another one. The 48-hour transformation that saved a marriage. His name is Michael. He was 61, married 32 years. His wife had asked for a separation, not because of infidelity, not because of neglect, because of his language. You never listen to me. You always put work first. You don't care about what I need. She'd been saying these phrases for 3 years, daily, sometimes multiple times a day. And here's what Michael didn't understand until I showed him. She wasn't describing their marriage, she was creating it. Every time she said, "you never," his brain heard never, and aligned unconsciously with never. Every time she said, "you always," his brain heard always, and locked the pattern in deeper. Her language was programming him to be exactly what she complained about. And he was programming her right back. "You're so critical. You're never satisfied. Nothing I do is good enough for you." They were locked in a linguistic death spiral, each casting spells on the other, each responding with stronger spells. I gave them a protocol, 48 hours. No negative statements about each other, not to each other. Not to other people, not even internally. "That's impossible," she said. "Have you met him?" "Try it anyway. 48 hours. If nothing changes, go back to the separation plan." Hours 1 through 8 were brutal. They were so habituated to negativity they barely knew how to communicate without it. But something shifted around hour 12. Michael came home from work. Usually she'd say, "Oh, you're home. Guess work finally released you." Instead, she said nothing. Just looked at him. Usually he'd reply, "Yeah, well, some of us have to work." Instead he said, "I'm home. Do you want to take a walk?" They hadn't taken a walk together in 2 years. They walked. They didn't discuss anything important. Just walked. But without linguistic warfare, there was space. Space for something other than attack and defend. By hour 24, something remarkable happened. Michael asked, "What would make you happy right now?" He had never asked that question in 32 years of marriage. Why? Because his script didn't include it. His linguistic programming was all defense, justification, and counterattack. When he stopped running that program, different words became available. She answered honestly, "I want to feel like you're here, present. Not just physically here, but actually with me." "I can do that," he said. "I don't know how yet, but I can learn." By hour 48, they were different people. No, they were the same people without the linguistic spells destroying everything they said to each other. 6 months later, they're still together. Stronger than they've been in a decade. Not because of therapy, not because of some major revelation, because they stopped cursing each other with their words. That's it. That's the whole intervention. Stop casting spells of limitation on the people you love. Watch what happens. This one is harder to tell, because it's a cautionary tale. Her name was Jennifer. She was 47. Brilliant artist. Incredible talent. She'd been working on a gallery show for 3 years, her life's work, her big moment, and she had one friend, I'll call her Diana, who was always there, always supportive, always interested in the work. Or so Jennifer thought. Here's what Diana actually said, consistently, over 3 years. "Wow, that's ambitious. I hope you pull it off." "That's a lot of work. Are you sure you can handle it?" "Gallery shows are so expensive. I'd be stressed about the money." I've heard the art market is really tough right now. Don't get your hopes up too high. You don't want to be disappointed. Every statement sounded supportive on the surface. Concerned. Caring. But look at the actual linguistic content. I hope you pull it off equals doubt you will. Are you sure you can handle it? Equals probably can't. I'd be stressed equals you should be stressed. Really tough right now equals failure is likely. Don't get your hopes up equals expect to fail. This is what I call a linguistic infection. Diana wasn't overtly attacking Jennifer. She was subtly installing doubt through language that masqueraded as support, and Jennifer absorbed every word. By month 6, Jennifer started saying Diana's phrases back to herself. This is really ambitious. I hope I can pull it off. This is so much work. Can I actually handle this? Gallery shows are so expensive. I'm stressed about the money. By month 12, Jennifer had slowed down on the work. The stress Diana predicted became real. The doubt Diana installed was now running on autopilot. By month 18, Jennifer was barely working on the show at all. By month 24, she cancelled it. I'm just not ready, she told people. The timing isn't right. The market is tough. I don't want to disappoint people. Those were Diana's words, coming out of Jennifer's mouth. Fully absorbed, completely installed. Jennifer believed those thoughts were her own, that she'd made a rational decision based on realistic assessment. She hadn't. She'd been infected with someone else's limiting beliefs, transmitted through language, and she'd mistaken the infection for her own judgment. I met Jennifer 2 years after she cancelled the show. She was depressed, stuck, hadn't created anything significant since. I don't know what happened, she said. I just lost my drive. I asked her to tell me about Diana, about their conversations, about the specific words Diana used. As Jennifer repeated them, I watched her face change. Recognition, horror. Oh my God, she whispered. She was doing it on purpose. I don't know if Diana was doing it consciously or unconsciously, malicious intent or unconscious projection. Doesn't matter. The linguistic infection worked either way. Here's what I told Jennifer. You absorbed someone else's fear and called it wisdom. You absorbed someone else's doubt and called it realism. You absorbed someone else's limitations and called them your own. Those words you're repeating, about the market, about the timing, about disappointing people, those aren't yours. Those are Diana's, and you can give them back. Jennifer did the 48-hour protocol, then the 30-day I am reconditioning. Within 6 months, she'd rebooked the gallery show. It opened last year, sold out, standing room only at the opening. But here's the tragic part. She'd lost 3 years. 3 years of her creative life to someone else's linguistic spell. That's why you need to understand this. That's why you need to develop linguistic immunity. Because people are casting spells on you constantly. Most of them don't even know they're doing it. And if you're not aware, if you're not filtering, if you're not questioning every word before you absorb it, you're walking around infected with other people's limitations. And this is the warning nobody gives you. Here's what happens when you start doing this work. People around you will resist. Not because they're evil, because you're changing the reality field they've been operating in. When Sarah stopped saying, I'm not good with money, her sisters got uncomfortable. Why? Because if Sarah could break that family curse, it meant they were choosing to stay under it. That's confronting. When Michael and his wife stopped cursing each other, their friends, who'd been validating their complaints for years, suddenly had nothing to commiserate about. That's awkward. When Jennifer started working on her show again, Diana disappeared from her life. Just stopped calling, stopped reaching out. Because Jennifer's success would have made Diana's fear-based advice obviously wrong. That's threatening. When you break your linguistic spells, you reveal that everyone else is still under theirs. Some people will be inspired. They'll ask you what changed. They'll want to learn. Those are your people. Help them. But some people will attack. They'll mock you. They'll tell you you've changed. You have. They'll say you're different now. You are. They'll try to pull you back into the old linguistic patterns. Don't go. This is the test. This is where most people fail. They break free from their own spells, then allow other people to recast them. Don't be that person. Remember, you're not responsible for other people's comfort with your growth. You're responsible for your own liberation. Anyone who tries to keep you small with their words, they're casting spells on you. Deflect them. Every time. Your linguistic sovereignty is not negotiable. Now you've seen it works. Now you've seen real people break real spells. Here's your exact protocol to test this yourself. I'm going to give you something practical. Something you can test immediately. This is the fastest way to see linguistic magic in action. And it works because it bypasses your skepticism and installs changes before your doubt can interfere. Here's what you're going to do. Hour 1, the audit. Take a piece of paper. Set a timer for 1 hour. During that hour, write down every negative statement you think or speak. Every single one. I'm so tired. This is hard. I hate traffic. I can't believe I did that. I'm so stupid. That always happens to me. I'll never get this right. Why me? Don't try to change them. Just observe. Become aware of the constant stream of self-cursing you're doing. Most people are shocked. They don't realize how relentlessly negative their self-talk is. That's the spell. Operating on autopilot, 24/7. By the end of hour 1, you'll have a list. Count how many negative statements you made. That number is your current curse density. Hour 2 to 8, the fast. For the next 6 hours, you're going on a linguistic fast. You're not going to speak or think any negative statements about yourself or your life. Not one. When a negative thought arises, you're going to catch it and replace it. Negative. This is taking forever. Replace. This is unfolding at the right pace. Negative. I'm exhausted. Replace. I'm learning to manage my energy better. Negative. I can't believe I have to do this. Replace. I'm capable of handling this. Negative. This traffic is terrible. Replace. This traffic is giving me time to think. This will be the hardest thing you've done in months, because you'll realize how addicted you are to negative language. That addiction is the spell, and you're about to break it. You'll fail multiple times. That's expected. When you catch yourself speaking negatively, don't punish yourself. Just acknowledge it, replace the thought, and continue. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. Hour 9 to 24, the installation. For the next 16 hours, you're going to do more than avoid negative language. You're going to actively install positive reality spells. Every hour, on the hour, you're going to speak one affirmation out loud, even if you're in public. Especially if you're in public. You can whisper it, but make sound. Here are your 16 spells. Say them in order. 1. I am open to receiving unexpected opportunities. 2. My energy is magnetic to positive experiences. 3. I trust the process of my life unfolding. 4. I am becoming the person I'm meant to be. 5. Abundance flows to me from expected and unexpected sources. 6. I am worthy of love, success, and joy. 7. My words create my reality and I choose them consciously. 8. I release all limiting beliefs that no longer serve me. 9. I am grateful for everything I have and everything coming. 10. I attract people and situations that support my highest good. 11. I'm confident in my ability to handle whatever arises. 12. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. 13. I am safe, I am held, I am guided. 14. My body is healing and strengthening every day. 15. I am exactly where I need to be right now. 16. I am the author of my reality, and I write a beautiful story. Set alarms. Don't skip any. Each one builds on the previous. Hour 25 to 48, the observation. For the final 24 hours, you're going to maintain the linguistic discipline from hour 2 to 8. No negative self-talk, but you're also going to watch. Watch for synchronicities. Watch for opportunities. Watch for people showing up differently. Watch for your mood stabilizing at a higher baseline. Keep a log. Write down every unexpected positive occurrence. Every time someone treats you better than usual. Every time an opportunity appears. Every time you feel calmer than you normally would. You will see changes, not because you manifested them with magic, but because you stopped broadcasting the frequency of limitation and started broadcasting the frequency of possibility. And reality reorganizes itself around the signal you're sending. Within 48 hours, you'll have proof that this works. And once you have proof, you'll never be able to unsee it. At the end of hour 48, repeat the audit from hour 1. Count your negative statements. Compare the two numbers. Your curse density will have dropped dramatically. That drop, that's measurable evidence of linguistic magic. Here's what the power structure understood that they kept from you. Language is the source code of reality. Before money, before military force, before political power, there was language. Whoever controls the language controls the population. This is why authoritarian regimes always start by controlling language, new words, banned words, compelled speech, thought crime. It's not about censorship, it's about reality control. When you control what people can say, you control what they can think. When you control what they can think, you control what they believe is possible. And when you control what they believe is possible, you control what they create. The entire system of control is linguistic, which means the entire system of liberation is linguistic too. When you reclaim sovereignty over your language, when you become conscious of every word you speak and think, you reclaim sovereignty over your reality. This is why mystics were persecuted, why indigenous wisdom keepers were silenced, why ancient texts were burned. Not because the information was dangerous, because liberated people are dangerous. People who understand they're creating their reality with every word can't be controlled. People who know how to deflect linguistic spells can't be manipulated. People who've mastered intentional language can't be contained. You are one of those people now. You know too much to go back to sleep. Let me show you how deep the programming goes. Right now, there are specific phrases being repeated across all media platforms, phrases carefully designed to install specific beliefs in the population. Notice how certain words suddenly appear everywhere simultaneously. Unprecedented. New normal. Trust the science. Follow the experts. For your safety. These aren't random. They're coordinated linguistic spells designed to create compliance. When you hear the same phrase from multiple sources repeatedly, your brain interprets it as consensus reality, as truth. Even when you consciously question it, the repetition creates subconscious acceptance. This is called the illusory truth effect. Psychologists have proven that repeated exposure to a statement increases belief in that statement's accuracy, regardless of its actual truth value. They're using your brain's own pattern recognition systems against you. And it's not just news media, it's entertainment, it's education, it's workplace jargon, it's social media. You're being bombarded with coordinated language patterns designed to shape your reality tunnel. Reality tunnel. That's a term coined by Robert Anton Wilson. It refers to the specific slice of reality you perceive based on your beliefs, language patterns, and mental filters. Two people can look at the same situation and see completely different realities. Not because reality changed, because their reality tunnels filter it differently, and language is what constructs your reality tunnel. Master your language, and you master which reality tunnel you inhabit. Most people are walking around in someone else's reality tunnel, thinking it's objective reality. It's not. It's a carefully constructed linguistic prison. The advanced techniques beyond basic affirmations. Once you've mastered the fundamentals, there are advanced techniques that exponentially increase your linguistic power. The quantum language collapse technique. Remember how I mentioned the observer effect? How observation collapses quantum probability into specific outcomes. Here's how to weaponize that with language. When you speak an intention, add this phrase: "This or something better now manifests for the highest good of all." Why does this work? This specifies your intention, directs observation toward a specific outcome, or something better, opens the possibility field. You're not limiting reality to your specific imagination. You're allowing outcomes you can't currently conceive. Now, collapses the timeline. Moves the outcome from future possibility to present process. Manifests. Declares the transition from potential to actual. For the highest good of all, ethical safeguard. Prevents manipulative manifestation that harms others. This formula combines quantum mechanics, linguistic precision, and ethical alignment. Use it. Watch what happens. The reality fracture method. This technique deliberately creates cognitive dissonance to break old patterns. Once a day, speak a statement that directly contradicts your current limiting belief. If you believe, "I'm always broke," say, "Money flows to me in avalanches of abundance from infinite sources." Your conscious mind will reject this. It knows it's not currently true. That's the point. The conflict between the old belief and the new statement creates a fracture in your reality construct, a crack where new possibilities can enter. Don't try to believe it, just say it daily, with as much conviction as you can muster. The repetition will gradually expand the crack until the old belief structure collapses and a new one forms. The third-person empowerment technique. Research shows that speaking about yourself in the third person increases emotional regulation and decision-making capacity. When facing a challenge, instead of saying, "I can do this," say that your name can do this. Why does this work? It activates different neural pathways. When you speak about yourself in third person, your brain processes it partially as if you're coaching someone else. This reduces anxiety and increases capability. Athletes use this constantly. LeBron James famously refers to himself in third person. It's not ego, it's linguistic technology, the ancestral pattern-breaking declaration. Many of your limitations aren't even yours. They're inherited from your family lineage. Money is scarce. Success is for other people. Don't stand out. Play it safe. These patterns run in families for generations. To break them, speak this declaration. I acknowledge the patterns I inherited. I honor my ancestors, and I choose differently. The limitations end with me. I am the pattern breaker. I am the cycle ender. I create a new legacy. Say this out loud, ideally in front of a mirror, once a week for 3 months. You're not just reprogramming yourself. You're severing linguistic lineages, freeing not just yourself but your descendants. The silence protocol. This is counterintuitive, but essential. Once a week, practice 4 to 8 hours of complete silence. No speaking, no writing, no texting. If you must communicate, gesture. Why? Because constant language use keeps you locked in existing patterns. Silence creates space for new patterns to emerge. In silence, you notice how much of your internal dialogue is unconscious repetition. You notice the spells running on autopilot, and in that noticing you gain the power to change them. the point of no return. You're at a choice point. You can close this page, dismiss everything you just read as interesting, and go back to the spell you've been living under. Or you can take the next 48 hours and test this yourself. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to run the experiment. Because here's what I know. You wouldn't still be reading if some part of you didn't recognize truth in these words. That recognition? It's your consciousness remembering what it's always known but forgot. You've had proof your entire life. You just didn't have the mechanism. Now you have both. The proof. Every time you said something negative and it came true. Every time you said I can't and you couldn't. Every time you said I'm not and you weren't. The mechanism neuroplasticity. Mirror neurons. Vibrational frequency. Water memory. Quantum observation. RAS filtering. Mirror neurons. It's all real. It's all documented. It's all accessible. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Your window is closing. Let me be straight with you. Right now, in this moment, you have clarity. You see the mechanism. You understand the power. Within 24 hours, if you don't take action, your conditioning will reassert itself. Doubt will creep in. Skepticism will protect the old patterns. Your mind will tell you, that was interesting, but it's probably not real. That voice, it's not wisdom. It's fear. Fear of your own power. Fear of responsibility. Fear of what happens if you succeed. Because if this works, if you really can reshape reality with language, then everything that's wrong in your life, you've been creating it. That's uncomfortable. Most people choose comfortable limitation over uncomfortable power. Don't be most people. You are drawn to this information for a reason. Your consciousness is ready for this. Your life is calling for this upgrade. The only question is, will you answer? The sacred commitment. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Right now, before you close this page, commit to the 48-hour protocol. Not, maybe I'll try it. Not, I'll do it when I have time. Now, say out loud, I commit to 48 hours of conscious language. Saying it out loud matters. Sound creates commitment in your nervous system. Then set a reminder on your phone for hour 1, hour 9, hour 25. Make it real, make it immediate, make it unavoidable. Because I've seen what happens to people who do this. They don't go back. Once you see how responsive reality is to intentional language, you can't unsee it. Once you experience the power, you can't unfeel it. You become someone who knows, and people who know change everything. The ripple effect, how you change more than yourself. Here's something they never told you. When you change your language, you don't just change your reality. You change everyone's reality around you. Remember mirror neurons? Your nervous system is constantly influencing everyone else's nervous system. When you walk into a room broadcasting limitation, fear, scarcity, everyone picks it up. Their mirror neurons fire in response. Their mood drops. Their possibilities narrow. When you walk into that same room broadcasting possibility, confidence, abundance, everyone picks that up instead. They feel lifted. Options appear that weren't there before. You're not just changing your life with conscious language, you're changing the reality field for everyone you encounter. This is why conscious language isn't selfish. It's service. Every time you break a limiting spell in yourself, you weaken that spell in the collective. Every time you install an empowering pattern, you make it easier for others to access that pattern. You're not doing this just for you. You're doing this for everyone who can't see this yet. For everyone still trapped in unconscious language. For everyone who will benefit from the shift in the collective field. This is how revolutions actually happen. Not through violence, not through political systems, through individuals reclaiming their linguistic sovereignty one person at a time, the final spell. I'm going to leave you with one spell, the most important one. This is the spell that breaks all other spells, the master key. Memorize it. Use it whenever you feel trapped, limited, controlled. I am not my conditioning. I am the consciousness that observes it, and I choose differently now. Say it when someone projects their limitations onto you. Say it when old patterns try to reassert themselves. Say it when you catch yourself in negative self-talk. Say it when the world tries to convince you that you're small, powerless, insignificant. This spell reminds you, you are not the character in their story. You are the author of your own, and you always have been. You just forgot. Now you remember. I'm going to ask you to do something right now. In the comments below, write one sentence. I am the author of my reality. That's it. Just say it publicly. Let your future self see that you made this commitment. Let the linguistic field register your declaration. Because here's what will happen if you don't. You'll watch this video. You'll feel inspired. You'll think, I should try this. And then you'll close the video, scroll to the next thing, and forget. Within 24 hours, the old spells will reassert themselves. The limiting language will come back. The curse will resume. That's the programming protecting itself. It doesn't want to die. It wants to keep you small. But if you comment, if you declare it publicly, you create accountability. You cast your first conscious spell. You make it real. The people who comment that declaration, those are the ones who actually transform every single time. The people who don't, they go back to sleep, back to unconscious language, back to being controlled by other people's spells. So comment, right now, before the old programming reclaims you. I am the author of my reality. And then do the practice. The 48-hour protocol. Track everything. Document the synchronicities. Notice when reality shifts. And if you want the advanced techniques, the deeper protocols I couldn't fit into this video, subscribe to the newsletter below. I'll send you the linguistic tools that go beyond what YouTube allows. The stuff that's too potent for public platforms. Come back in 48 hours and tell me what happened. What shifted? What opportunities appeared? What spells you broke? Because you're not here by accident. You didn't click on a video about words as spells because everything in your life is perfect. You clicked because some part of you, probably the part that's been trapped under linguistic programming your entire life, recognized truth here. Your conscious mind might still be skeptical. That's fine. Let it be skeptical. But let's run the experiment anyway. 48 hours, conscious language only. Track everything. Document it all. And then decide for yourself whether this is real. The power, your linguistic sovereignty, is there. It's been there your whole life, hidden behind other people's spells. The question is, will you finally reclaim it? The choice is yours, but make it now. Comment below. I am the author of my reality. Subscribe to the newsletter for the advanced protocols. And then let's see what happens when you stop being controlled by language and become its master. I'll see you on the other side, where words become worlds, and you become the magician you've always been. The spell is broken. Welcome home.